Thanks for tuning in. I'm Larry Berglund. I'll be taking you through our continuing series of podcasts and webcast programs. Our subject matter is sustainability, corporate social responsibility. We'll be adding other programs on negotiations and strategy, leadership and professionalism down the road. I'm a researcher, writer, advocate, facilitator, and consultant, and author on sustainability practices from a supply management perspective. And today we're going to talk a bit about Courier and Cartage services. How would you measure a green fleet? How would you know which supplier going through an RFP should get the contract for your Courier or Cartage services? I would venture to guess that 95% of the contracts are awarded on the cost and service factors, and that's pretty much it. Factoring in the green fleet or green criterion into your decision on an RFP is more complicated than you think, very doable. I've done it for some very large municipalities and other organizations. Factoring in the green metrics is a very important piece of demonstrating leadership, sticking to values, and still keeping an eye on the bottom line. I wrote a case study on this called An Exhausting Decision with a colleague, Vicki Wakefield, a couple of years ago. And so we look at the main components here are fleet fuel efficiency. You need to look at the year, make, model, and the manufacturer's fuel consumption ratings for city and highway travel. And look at the types of vehicles they have in terms of hybrids, which sounds great, but how many vehicles are actually hybrid when you look at it? Some of them may only have 2 or 3 vehicles out of a 50-vehicle fleet. One we looked at had 10, but they had 150 vehicles, so a small number of hybrid vehicles with that. Then you have to calculate the annual greenhouse gas emissions for that overall fleet. We provide you the formulas for doing this in the workshops that we provide on this, and that's about the only way you're truly going to know whether you're awarding a contract for Courier Cartage's business to a responsible organization. Other than that, a lot of you users are going to be very heavily dependent upon what the cost of that service is and the value of that service in terms of timeliness and responsiveness. I'm glad to say I've successfully been able to award contracts to the most cost-effective and most responsible business going, and from a service factor it worked out extremely well. But it did take more time to go through this, and that's the point of some of these sustainability strategies. It's more work up front for the long-term benefits. It's a challenge for you. So when I ask you, what have you done for your planet today, and you say, well, I've awarded a green Courier and Cartage contract, I'm glad you have, if you factored in the responsible green metrics associated with that. Thank you for your time today. I'm Larry Berglund. Go to the website www.prezplus for more information on this. Thanks again.